Hari, Hari, Hari. Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udetu Satatam Samyag Swatmananda Prabodhagaha. Hari, Hari, Hari Om Tas. All of us together shall recite jointly 3 times the auspicious monosyllable Omkara. While chanting, your intention should be to permeate the whole of the earth through this joint recitation, so that the blessings of the recitation will be available to all the living creatures upon the earth. This kind of an expansion to your mind is very, very important. Only the very fortunate human souls will be able to achieve it. Interlock your fingers, put them on your lap, sit comfortably erect, close your eyes, open the mouth as well as the heart. Join me. Dear and blessed children of immortality. This is the way our Upanishadic seers used to address those in front. Yes, yes, yes. Whenever a human is born, he is anointed with a twofold crown or heredity. One is the mortal body, and the other is the immortal soul. Both everyone has. There is no question or a doubt about the matter. Our body is mortal, always so. The mortal body is able to live. It is enlivened by the immortal spirit. You cannot think of a living body without the immortal spirit enlivening it. So, our twofold heredity is absolutely a fact which cannot be rejected by anyone, any time at all. I would like you to realize this. You should be able to tell openly to anybody, any time in the world, as my body is mortal, so my soul is immortal. Bodily I am mortal, and inwardly I am immortal. To understand this and say this, I don't think you have to have a great degree of academic education. But you should certainly have the grace, particularly the loving association of a Sadguru. I was thinking about today, this assembly which was to be. And I was wondering, on earlier birthdays also, many of you have assembled here, and at the end of the Pada Puja, I was asked to address the audience. This time also I felt I would have to address all of you. Every time the message will necessarily be the same. It is the message of what I have already said. You are not the body. You are not the body. You only have the body. You are not the body, you only have the body. Just like you have a house, you have your dress, you have your car, You have your family members. You only have your body. That I have a body again is a notion the mind generates and preserves. It's only a notion. Only a notion in the mind. That is why after 16 hours of wakefulness every day, the mind wipes off the whole waking state reactions and effects and puts you to sleep. In sleep, you have no body, no mind, no intelligence, no ego. And the world is certainly not there. Have you ever thought about this fact? Every one of you is either wakeful or asleep. Either asleep or wakeful. It is only from sleep you wake up. Can you show a man who has woken up except from sleep? Similarly, can you show me a man who does not sleep after having been wakeful? In sleep, one is nothing and nowhere. But in wakefulness, he is somebody and somewhere. But this entire wakefulness has sprung from the sleep. That sleep was nothing and nowhere. So you can understand the value of this wakefulness. Where do you have to go to? It has arisen from sleep and it goes into sleep. Between two sleeps alone, the wakefulness is there. Tell me what is its value then? Why are you so much worried about it? In terms of any event or development in the wakefulness, why should you unnecessarily get agitated, depressed or otherwise? Because the source of wakefulness is sleep. And wakefulness alone produces the world. So the source of the world also is wakefulness. This is what is called Adhyatma. This is called spirituality. Spirituality is a study, a dedicated study of what is within our mortal body. And the study becomes complete and full when you understand that it is the immortal, unborn and undying soul, the I in you. This is the whole spiritual philosophy, the spiritual wisdom that the great country of Bharat had evolved, discovered and realized in the prehistoric times, countless millennia ago, and preserved generation after generation. Even today it is as vibrant as it was when it was evolved. That is the greatness of India. That is the greatness of India. I find our country progressing substantially well. We have recently got the recognition that we are the biggest country in the world. We have exceeded the population China has. What more do you want? What more do you want? I am writing in our Vichar Setu English journal, which is more than half a century old. It's an international publication, in email as well as in visual form written. A series of articles from Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana called Science of Inner Redemption. When I read the original verses written in Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga itself is lakhs of years long. Double that is Dwapara Yuga. 3 times is Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, Vasishtha in the palace of Ayodhya spoke to Sri Rama, 16 years old, for 18 full days from morning to evening. And this Swami is reading it and writing on it. When I see the display of human intelligence, the wisdom it's able to access, the subtlety, the precision, the magnificence with which it is able to perceive truths without a telescope, without a microscope, without any technological help or process. The human mind and the human intelligence are able to probe within the mystery of creation. Sometimes I stop, I am looking at the screen on the wall. Sometimes I keep quiet. wondering at the greatness of India in having produced this splendid wisdom. Let the whole world look into it. Not a syllable of it has to be changed, can be changed. It is entirely a probe within the body, where the genesis of this visible creation is reigning with its supreme splendor. With its supreme splendor, they have been able to unveil it, discover it, realize it, relate it with so much of precision, confidence, authority, supremacy and sovereignty that their revelations stand unassailed even today. I throw a challenge to the entire world to study what Vasishtha had spoken, what sage Valmiki had recorded. It's in written form, to see whether they can change or recast the writing in any place. This is the greatness of India. I am an ascetic, and whatever words I utter is the power and magnetism of asceticism. What is this ascetic life? I would like you to think. After the birth of my body, 90 years seem to have passed. In the 90 years, when I look back, I only can tell you something very significant that comes to my mind. Biologically, I had my parents. And my very young age, right from the age of 3 or 4, in school, college, etc., and some other education, a part of it was a professional life in Kolkata. It's all over. I have nothing to tell you significantly about it. Many other people have done it. I too also ran. I never liked my study life. I was not able to find in the schools and further educational levels that which I wanted, knowingly or unknowingly my mind looked for. But when I went to Calcutta, I happened to meet my Gurudev, whom my brother brought home to our flat. He was an old man at the time, more than 60 years old, skin and bone. With a sitar in his hand, he climbed. We were living in the first floor. My brother told me to prostrate before him. You know, we are South Indians given to very good prostration. We fall like a stick. My mother always used to tell me, touch the feet of the person whom you prostrate before. So I did it. He lifted me up and kissed me on my forehead. Something that I could never remember from my parents or any others. So I was struck by the feeling of intimacy he was able to muster, the fondness he felt towards me. I was a boy from the south. He had never seen me earlier. But how is it that he had so much of fondness and the freedom to do what he did? I don't remember my mother had done it, my father had done it, brothers and sisters had done it. No. I was the seventh child, last child in my family. The eldest brother went away. Even now we don't know anything about him. Either he went away before my birth or soon after my birth. So 6 of us had lived together and I was the youngest. I never had such an episode from anybody else. So this went deep into my heart. So something is there in the human heart which makes it feel this kind of a fondness and an intimacy, both of which give a certain authority and a freedom. Where from do these emerge? What is the source of it? I have seen so many people interacting with one another. All their interactions are very formal, customary and conventional, but nothing of this kind. Somehow I felt an irresistible fondness for him, and that fondness still continues. I used to write to him, he used to reply, And at one time I felt I should get initiated by him. He had initiated my brother during that visit to our flat. So I knew words like initiation, Diksha, some words in Vedanta, Brahman, this, that and all. So after initiation I was very specific that I should do the sadhana my Gurudev initiated me into. That is the sadhana. Sit in a place, close your eyes and commune with your own within. Are you with me when I say this? Sit in a place. If it is in a room, close the door and the window. Take an asana, sit there, close your eyes and commune with your own inside. I don't even say mind, heart, intelligence, etc. Commune within. Commune with your own within. After initiation, I told my Baba, don't tell me to read books. I have not come to you to be asked to read books. I will not read. I will do this sadhana. I want to realize it as a personal experience. That is why I have come to you. I have seen you alone, sit or stand on your head for so many hours a day. Except for taking bath and having food, he used to be different. Otherwise he would play with the harmonium, play the sitar, stand on the head, night also. So I know that this is something to be realized in silence. It is not an actional process. It is a non-actional process and pursuit. And mind and intelligence are the only medium through which you can do this practice. So I will not read any book. He smilingly said, okay. But there will come a time when you have to read a book and the book will appear on your table, he said. And exactly it so happened. After about 1.5 or 2 years, Mundakopanishad came to my table. I opened it and started reading. It was a great discovery in my life. Throughout my studies, I was interested only in 2 subjects, English and Sanskrit. No other subject appealed to me at all. English and Sanskrit. English not so much because we studied in local schools, government schools. So it was not an English medium, but I liked English. Every day, 2 hours of English lessons were there. So we are very thorough in English grammar. Our thoroughness may not be even in UK and America and other places. We are very thorough. Some of the grammar details when I used to discuss with English speaking people, they said, we have never heard it. So that kind of a liking I had. In the few years of my life in Calcutta, I was reading the editorial and editorial articles in Statesman. This was my wealth. I tried hard to read Charles Dickens, a novel. 200 pages I read and I threw it away. I could never buy an English book to be read by me. This was a peculiar state of mind. But when I read Mundakopanishad, which was in Sanskrit, I had said goodbye to Sanskrit. I am going to Calcutta in pursuit of profession. So let the Sanskrit be bundled up and kept. So I kept it. When I read Mundakopanishad, I found a story different. So I started reading the scriptural compositions at meteoric speed. While traveling in the tram, whenever I got time, I would steal the books and read. And what books did I read? All scriptural compositions. The biography of Ramakrishna Dev, Vivekananda's 8 volumes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's biography, Sharada Devi's, Vivekananda's also. Otherwise, it was all scriptural reading. My scriptural learning gave me an exposure into the unknown. Beautiful exposure. Very alluring, inspiring, attractive, persuasive, capturing, engulfing. Everywhere I found this. And I could easily understand Sanskrit with translations. I never was interested in commentary. I only wanted to know Sanskrit words and their language. I could understand somehow. My interest grew. Sadhana also grew. Scriptural reading intensified the sadhana. And sadhana led to more of scriptural reading. Like the two birds of a wing, I started flying into the spiritual dimensions, horizons. And I found in Mandukya Kariga, which clearly says this knowledge is to be pursued wholeheartedly, wholesomely, whole-timely. This knowledge is the greatest that human can acquire. There is nothing greater than this. Once you are sure and you are after it, here are the words. Nistutihi nir namaskaraha niswadhakare vacha. Never praise a god. We have 33 crores of gods and goddesses. If you go on praising, whom you will praise? So stop praising. Never prostrate before anyone. Where are these gods and goddesses? How many times will you prostrate? And do not think of performing any pinda or udaka kriya for the departed. Are you with me? Are you hearing me? Or are you afraid? Nistudir nir namaskaro niswadhakaraye vacha. You have only two refuges in this world. One is the mobile body, another is the immobile soul. You cannot say, I have only the mobile body. Mobile body cannot live by itself. It is enlivened by the spirit. So there is no living body. When I look at you, you will think that Swamiji is looking at the body. But Swamiji is actually looking at the soul. I am not finding dead bodies in my friend, living bodies. So the living bodies give me the idea of the living. The idea of the livingness. Chala jala nikedascha yadihi yadrichchigo bhavi. Become an ascetic. Become an ascetic and depend upon chance, providence. My dear souls, I had found what I wanted. I had found what I wanted. My course was not to pursue the profession. It was not to spend the day eating, sleeping and acting. There is something greater. When Shankaracharya left the widowed mother with no other child by the side, I always felt that what was that call which made Shankara leave the solitary mother and walk to see Govindapada living in a hermitage on the bank of Narmada. What was that call? What was that strength? What was that persuasion? I used to wonder as a child. I had three influences in my life. Rama, for his truthfulness and character. Krishna, for his pleasantness. Later I knew for his wisdom. And Shankara, for the sense of renunciation. I have embodied these three influences in ample measure in my life. Rama could not satisfy me. Poor Rama always suffered. Krishna was always delightful. But he was involved in slaughter, trick, this, that and all. He was a Kshatriya, but I am not a Kshatriya. I am a Brahmana lad. So there is no comparison with either Sri Rama or Sri Krishna. But with Shankara I had full comparison. So Shankara's influence was the dominant influence in me, and even now I am that. So that is how I decided, no more. I put in my resignation, asking the company to allow me to retire. The time has come for me to renounce my professional life, and I am going to be an ascetic. Maybe I would come to Calcutta as an ascetic. I went to my Gurudev He smiled and said he had given me a name earlier also. So with the Geruva cloth he gave me, I put on after shaving my hair and beard, and I said goodbye to Calcutta. I always say the streets of India welcomed me thereafter, and the invisible providence graced me. I would like to use these two phrases ever and ever. The streets of India welcomed me because I had no freedom to go anywhere else. I can only walk on the streets of India. Nobody will stop me. That is the inherent freedom we have. The street is nobody's. It is the government, it's the public property. You can walk there. And the invisible providence graced me. Even today I am sitting here, it is the same story. My dear souls, I had an openness. I never concealed anything. So whatever was happening to me after initiation, even before my Gurudev visited the flat, I used to keep the family members informed. Unlike my brother. My brother was not given to such openness. After initiation, we wanted to bring our Gurudev home. So we were discussing, he was an old man, he had a spittoon, which is something that our family people would hate to look at. So we were wondering, he agreed, I shall come. Then after some time, my brother and I discussed the matter. We have got service assistants everywhere in our home. What about washing his clothes, spittoon and all that? So my brother felt a little shaky. So I wrote to my Baba, we are a little shaky, we are not confident of this reception in full measure from the family members. So the plan seems to be not working. He said, very good. Very good. Then after debate and discussion, I always jump, which my brother refused to. So I said, I will do everything, let us take him. So they said, agree. So I wrote to him, okay, I shall come, he said. See, this one instance where the openness with which I wrote to him and the openness with which I revived my writing, just see, this speaks volumes. Volumes. In everything I found a message. How to live as a God-realized man. How to live as a knower of truth. What is this realization? So brought him home, including our parents, Purushottama Swamiji. He was not a Swami then. His wife, my sister-in-law, our maidservant, all people got initiated by Baba. And everybody was up on their feet to serve him. No conflict, nothing at all. After sannyasa, I said, I will go home, which nobody does. I was a revolutionary in that. I said, I will first of all go home so that they can see. All people are afraid. You know, in my family, 5 people have taken up sannyasa. We never had any resistance, any opposition. The whole family took to it. And we had 17 to 25 acres of land, a farmland, which we bought in the name of our father. He made it into a trust. And the whole land was completely offered for this mission. It is no more with us. So there was no opposition, there was no doubt. I said, let them see how their son is as a sannyasi. And from there we started wandering. The first place we went wandering without taking any money was Chelakara. There the villagers made a talk. For the first time in my life I opened my mouth and spoke on Bhagavad Gita. That one talk changed the whole plan. We wanted to walk, but that walking stopped. People started taking us on taxis, etc., asking us to give talks to the people. So, the Swami became an eloquent speaker just with one talk. When I spoke on the Bhagavad Gita, don't think that I had completely absorbed it and known it, etc. Whatever little knowledge I had, I spoke. I used to speak thunderously. In Padayanur, one Vedantic scholar got angry with us, and he said they should not talk in the temple, so we were banished. As it happened with Shankara, knowing that he has done what he did, we went to him. We had a discussion lasting for about 2 hours. At the end of the discussion, he said, you should have disclosed your identity. He thought that we were communists. The sloga I interpreted was, Kankshanda karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. This was the sloga I interpreted from the 3rd chapter. So I was very vociferous in saying, these rituals and ceremonies are of no consequence at all. It is your desire that makes you do, and not the reality of what you do. So I was very vociferous. As a young person, so he thought that I was speaking against Hinduism, rituals, etc. Finally, his wife greeted us with coffee and idli and all that. Then we came away. And we were called back to the temple and started lecturing. This also happened. Now, today what I have to tell you is that there are 2 parallel institutions in our country. Many of you would not have thought about in this manner. One is the temples, holy places. Temples and holy places mean tirthas and other places, so many things. There many people go. That place never comes. You have to go there and receive whatever spiritual or devotional inspiration you will have. The deity or the water will not speak to you. We go on worshipping, and your worship yields some results. But nothing yields from there. But quite a number of people go, millions of people visit shrines. This is one influence. But the greater influence is spiritual abodes where spiritual seers and knowers live. There you go to see them, to be seen by them, to hear them, to be heard by them, to be interacting with them. This interaction is not possible in shrines. True that millions of people go there. They visit, they come back. And the popularity may increase. It all depends upon how the shrine is managed and what is happening there. So the second institution, what counts is Guru and Guru Bhakti. Nothing else. What made me become an ascetic? It is my Guru Bhakti. I had seen a man of realization. I had wanted to see nothing else and nobody else. After seeing my Gurudev, I have never worshipped God at all. Not at all. Everything was bundled up. What he said, what he represented, I was observing him, asking him whenever questions were there. He was also telling me. One day I asked him, Baba, I have heard that Ramakrishna Dev had 12 disciples and he was very happy. I would like to know, we are not 12 but we are a much smaller number. But are you happy with us? Do you have sufficient fulfillment? He said, good fulfillment I have. You are all associated with me. I have gained my trust, confidence, etc. Every one of you has received something from me and you will know about it as days pass. I accompanied him in Dakshin Kanda to a house where he was going. So during the conversation, Baba was saying, referring to me, here is an unexploded volcano. I remember the words. Here is an unexploded volcano, he said. I never asked him what he meant, but I heard it. And his statement had sufficient impact in my mind. So in the sphere of spirituality, I am an Advidiya person. Advidiya. Nothing can shake me, even God cannot shake. In writing the Bhashya for Bhagavad Gita, shall I say? Would you like to hear? Vinasham avyayasya na kaschit kartumarhadi. There is a verse in the 2nd chapter. Avinashidu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam vinasham avyayasya na kaschit kartumarhadi. There is one presence pervading the whole of the Panchabhutas. That pervading presence cannot be destroyed by anybody. Shankara says, including Ishvara. What? Are you hearing? I don't think. Your ears are inefficient. Ishvaraha Abhi he has added. This presence which is pervading everywhere, Avinashitu tadvidhi ena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartumarhadi. Nobody will be able to destroy. He says, including Ishvara. That is the spirit I have. That is the spirit I have. Where from did I get the spirit? From my Baba. How? Because of my Guru Bhakti. Any institution, spiritual institution, if it has been founded, it's only because of the Guru Bhakti of the founder. If any institution is surviving, it's only because of the Guru Bhakti. In the ashram, you have something which you will never find in any of the temples. In every temple, the idol is installed by the people, by the priest. The divine brilliance, the benedictory power the idol has is bestowed upon it by the priests. Are you following me? No. The priests have installed divinity in the idol, in the stone. Priests have installed divinity. They say, now it is divine, you can worship. And that divinity is every day getting exhausted by people offering something or the other and seeking blessings. So in 12 years it will be fully over. It has to be replenished, poor fellow. This is the story of the idol. So this is what happens. So this Guru Bhakti is the most important factor. From the age of 23, now I am supposed to be 90. How much is it? 67 years. In the 67 years, when I think of me 67 years back, and when I think of me 67 years later, I can only find a big zero in me. I am a zero. I was nothing and I want nothing. And I wanted to say this. I am nothing, I want nothing. Every one of you should wonder, it's not a simple statement, it's an invaluable statement. What could make the human heart say, I am nothing and I want nothing? What can make it say? Tell me, none of you can speak? If the human mind has to say, I want nothing, can you imagine the fullness and the ecstasy it has? And what gives the ecstasy? Not a speck of sand from the world, from the creation. Nothing from the created world. Nothing I want. Nothing. I am full within myself. Not with the material objects outside. None of them can enter my heart. They will always remain your children, your house, your car, your money, your deposit, your gold, your silver. All of them are material. They will only remain outside. They cannot make the heart full or the mind full. Something else, my dear souls, is there which will make the heart and the mind full. And that is what I saw, what I felt, I got, I gained in full measure. That is what makes me say, I am nothing, I want nothing. This is the greatness of asceticism. This is the greatness of ascetic life. To plunge into a nothing and to be nowhere. Yadihi yadrichiko bhavet. Depend upon chance, depend upon providence. We wanted to build a Sabhaniketan in Naimisharan in Parlikat. We started. I always say, sannyasins start a venture having nothing in their hand. By the time they start, somebody offers something and they go ahead and they find that what they have and what they need, the difference is too big. How to start? So there is a devotee of mine in Bombay. He said, Swamiji, I have a trust. I am going to wind up the trust. So I want to spend all the money. Tell me whatever you want, I will sign the check and send to you. So I spoke about it and we consulted and said, we have nothing to do here in the ashram. But we have something, I have something to do in Parlikat. Because for Srimad Bhagavata Tattva Samiksha Satram, we would like to have a building so that people can sit comfortably and eat without dust, wind, etc. Whatever it may be, you tell me. How much money do you have? He said, I have got 1.5 crores of rupees. But it is for this event. Anything that you want, we shall send. He sent the money. But the plan was not coming up. There was difficulty in getting the land and all that. So we mentioned to him. So it has to be given. The progress is not as we expected. So you keep it in a corpus. I will write a letter to that effect. And he wrote a letter. So by the time we started the venture, the architect gave us an estimate of 7.5 crores. But we had maybe 2.5 or 3, something like that. And we started. Even the COVID helped us. Because the COVID stopped all work. So we got a 2-year period for it to complete it. So even the COVID was a beautiful blessing in the construction of the whole Sabhaniketan. Work had to be suspended and now it is completed. After the last Srimad Bhagavata Tattva Samiksha Satram, we held a retreat there for children. I am so happy and buoyant that 110 children from Kerala came there and made it their home. And the manner in which the retreat was conducted, I am yet to get details. Beautiful. What the Sabhaniketan has to do, will do, people have to think very seriously about on the basis of the experience they have had for this children retreat. It was a residential one. Beautifully conducted. So, people are asking me, what will you do with Sabhaniketan? I say, let the building be there, let the facility be there. I would like to conduct an English Srimad Bhagavata Tattva Samiksha Satram at least for 5 or 7 days. Our problem now is where from the English speakers come. So all of you can think about it. If you can give us 2 speakers, each of you, at least 10 of you, we are then ready to conduct it. Our place is there, willingness is there, resources also are there. They won't be lacking. We would like to conduct, because my devotees have been telling me that you are conducting a satram, we hear about it. What about our listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, the truths, principles, values and ideals of Srimad Bhagavata as propounded by Vyasadeva? So I would like to conduct it. Anybody can think about it and help us. So only when a place is there, you can think what can be done. We can teach Srimad Bhagavatam as a science, not as a devotional text as all people do Saptaham. It is to be read in a research-oriented manner. So much of research is there, finding is there. It is full of values. The Srimad Bhagavatam should be read by Postdoctorate scholars. Postdoctorate scholars. Vidyavatam Bhagavate Pariksha. In Srimad Bhagavatam is a great test for all the enlightened people, erudite people, they say. So I only have to say that if you look at Bhumananda Swamiji, understand that he is a shadow of Guru Bhakti. Nothing else I have. But I have never propagated my Gurudev. Never generally speak about him also. Now, as you were told, we are constructing that Purnashram where our Baba lived, and I am waiting for the day when the building will be complete and we shall be able to go there and spend at least 5 days. Now, I don't have enough of Bengali words, so I have told Ma, I have decided I will read 100 words first, 500 next. If possible, 1000 words. By the time I learn 1000 or 500, I will be immensely resourceful to thunder in Bengali. So what I have done is, I know Sanskrit. I have completely written on my typewriter Vishnu Sahasranama in Bengali. The whole of Vishnu Sahasranama, instead of handwriting, I have written on the computer. It's available, you can take a copy. After entering it, I have corrected the words. So most probably 90-95% it should be foolproof. This is what I have started doing. So I will enter Bhagavad Gita also. Very easily, as I type English, I will type them instead of writing. So, আমি একটুখানি বাংলাতে কথা বলতে চাইছি. In Dakshinganda, some of the devotees were asking, will Swamiji speak a few words in Bengali for us? Hey, Dakshingandaর লোক শুনো, আমি যা বলছি, তোমাদের জন্য আমি একটুখানি বাংলাতে কথা বলবো, বেশি বলবো না. আমি শুনলাম, তারপরে ছবিও দেখলাম. আজকে সকালে দক্ষিণখণ্ডে তোমরা সব মিলিয়ে প্রভাত ফেরি করেছো. ছবি দেখে আমার খুব ভালো লাগলো, খুব ভালো লাগলো. আমার মনে হয় দক্ষিণখণ্ড গ্রাম পবিত্র হয়েছে, খুব পবিত্র হয়েছে. কেন? তোমরা সব ভগবানের নাম হরে রাম হরে রাম হরে হরে জপ করে ওইখানে সঞ্চার করেছে. তো এর বেশি কি আছে? শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতে কৃষ্ণ পরমাত্মা উদ্ধবকে বলছে, মদ ভক্তিযুক্ত ভুবনম পুনাতি. একটু ভালো করে শুনো না, বুঝে নাও. মদ ভক্তিযুক্ত ভুবনম পুনাতি. আমার নাম নিয়ে খুব জোর করে জপ করে উৎসাহ নিয়ে যারা ভূমিতে সঞ্চার করছে, তারা ভূমিকে পবিত্র করে দিচ্ছে বলছে. ভগবানের নাম নিয়ে যদি আমরা চলি, সেই চলবার সময় সারা জগৎ, সারি ধরিত্রী পবিত্র হয়ে যাচ্ছে. এইরকম দক্ষিণখণ্ড আজকে পবিত্র হয়ে গেছে. এরপরে অনেক কিছু ওইখানে করার আছে. আমরা যা ওইখানে নির্মাণ করছি সেটা শেষ হওয়ার জন্য খুব অ্যাংশিয়াসলি ওয়েট করছি. যখন শেষ হবে আমরা ওইখানে আসব, 5 দিন মিনিমাম থাকব. সেই 5 দিনে আমি বাবার কাছ থেকে যা শুনেছি সেটা তোমাদের শোনাব. আমার বেশি মা আর নতুন স্বামীজি তোমাদের শোনাবে. সেই জন্য আমি তৈয়ার, আমি খুব সন্নদ্ধ হয়ে এখানে থাকছি. যা হচ্ছে ভালো করে করো, আমরা ঠিক করব. ভালো করে বলেছি কি? संवेद्यवर्जितमनुत्तममेघमाद्यं संवित्पदं विकलनं कलयन् महात्मन् ഹൃദ്യേവ തിഷ്ഠ കലനാരഹിതക്രിയാം തു കുർവൻ അകർത്തൃപദമേത്യ ശമോദിതശ്രീഃ കുർവൻ അകർത്തൃപദമേത്യ ശമോദിതശ്രീഃ. ഹരി ഹരി. ഓ ഹരി ഓം തസ്. ജയ ഗുരു.